one option, and I appreciate you coming today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Seeing no further questions, thank you very much. Our next delegation, Amanda Brown. Amanda, welcome.
Okay, so my name is Amanda Brown, and I'm here to speak in favor of banning right turns on red in the downtown area. As councillors, the city staff response does not give you anything of substance to be able to make a decision off of. So I'm going to go through that. Starting with the response to question 1, for points 1 to 3, why are we putting the onus of road safety on pedestrians? There are a million things that can be done to reduce traffic and irresponsible drivers, like having a working transit system and bike lanes that keep bikes off the road. For point 4, just this week on the 24th, a truck decided it could not wait for me to cross the road, revved its engine, and drove at me, completely neglecting the stop sign right in front of them. He clearly wasn't concerned with non-compliance, so this means we should just get rid of all crosswalks and stop signs since they don't work 100% of the time. And for the last point, how many millions did we just put into the OPP budget? This is just an irrelevant point for me. Regarding question 2, why waste time repeatedly assessing all intersections individually when we can just implement the ban and do an assessment in a year and see how things are going? For question 3, this just doesn't give a full picture of what's happening on the streets of Ottawa right now. So these are incidents I've witnessed just this week. February 23rd at Bank and Elgin, someone ran through a red light while people were already approaching the crosswalk to go through. On my way back home on the bus later, a car rushed into a right turn on red on Rideau Street, pulling in front of the bus that was already in the middle of the intersection. On the 24th, I already mentioned the incident where a driver drove at me with malicious intent. But later, as I crossed the crosswalk to my building, someone began performing a right turn on green, slowly inching closer and closer to me, trying to get me to move faster across the road. At that same intersection on the 25th at 9 a.m., an SUV would go driving full force into the capital city mission drop-in at Rideau and Cobourg, killing 1 pedestrian and injuring 4 others. 4 out of 5 of these incidents were not reported. All saw pedestrians being placed at risk. How many incidents involving right turns on red just aren't represented in this report? However, the sentence that enraged me the most in this section was this. As a result, right turn on red restrictions would not address the majority, approximately 90%, of fatal and major injury collisions involving vulnerable road users. So they're saying the 10% just aren't worth doing anything about. Not enough people are dying for them to care. So I would like to tell a story about a single accident. When I was 12, my sister was hit by a transport truck and died. It was 5 a.m. and she was on her way to work. At a red light, the transport truck behind her didn't stop. Instead, it hit her head on. Her seatbelt failed and she was ejected through her windshield. She died in seconds, confused, alone, on cold black pavement, slowly pooling with her blood. When the police came to notify us, they didn't know her name. They called her Jamie Lynn Brown. Her name is Jamie Lee. Just a few months prior, I had visited Jamie in Sudbury with my dad and little sister. Now we all sat in a hotel room holding her ashes. She was bright and full of life and love. Sorry. And now she's merely fertilizer for the treehouse she used to climb when she was a little girl. Yet she was just one person. And to the staff at City Hall, that just isn't worth doing anything about to make a difference. I can only pray that if some councillors could prevent the death of my sister with a simple bylaw that takes them 5 seconds to pass, that they would do it. One person may mean nothing to the staff at City Hall, but they mean everything to someone else. Banning right turns on red is a simple step to protect the pedestrians of the city. I hope all of you can recognize the importance of safety over driver convenience and vote to ban right turns on red in the downtown area. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. Councillor Devine.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, Amanda. Please don't ever apologize for being emotional there. You have every right to be. I'm very sorry what happened to that person. And the only reason I want to talk to you about this is you have illustrated what I think for many is the big conversation and the big debate here is evaluating the trade-offs. You know, whether we prioritize safety at all expense or whether we prioritize or concern ourselves over, let's say, traffic flow at all expense. And I completely understand being frustrated by that. And I'll just illustrate a situation that happened in my ward where about a year or two ago, I got an automatic ASE camera at one of the most dangerous locations in my ward on Maryvale. It was so hard to get that done. And I did get it. Staff did eventually get it there, but they had to follow their rules, their procedures, and there are criteria. The first criteria, how much speeding happens at this location? It ranked number 1. The second criteria, what is the severity of that speeding at that location? In other words, how much faster than the speed limit are they going? It ranked near the top. The third criteria, what is the exposure of risk? In other words, how many kids are there that can be hit? It was near a school with a small population. In other words, compared to other locations in the city where more people could be hit, it ranked lower there. And so at that time, I did not get the camera because it didn't meet that criteria. All around that area, parents were saying, can we please get something here? Because what we're doing now is we're driving our kids to school when we only live freaking 2 blocks from here. And the answer I told them is, you're damn right it's dangerous. More people speed here than anywhere. People speed here like crazy, but there's just not enough kids to hit. Eventually, and staff was sympathetic, for sure, but they had to go by their process. Eventually, we got it. Now, we've lost it because of Premier Ford. But I just want to mention that what you are identifying there is that we have policies in place that perhaps do not prioritize what we, as the guardians of the public good, should be prioritized. So thank you for your delegation. Thank you for addressing that issue, and we'll continue talking about that. Thank you, Chair.
Great. I see no questions. I just want to say thank you, Amanda, for coming out. And I think Councillor Devine's illustrated it. We might have discussions at this table, and there will be questions to staff specifically on pedestrian safety. That's our number 1 goal. And before you leave, we might not agree on everything, but we certainly agreed with keeping automated speed enforcement in this community, a real tool that we had in our toolbox that was stripped from us. So as we work, our traffic staff, they're bobbing and weaving all the time, how to be able to slow traffic down, how to change things. So our deepest sympathies on behalf of the committee, and we'll keep that in mind during the rest of the delegations today. Thank you.